What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that can only work out to Dragon Ball Z remixes, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTheCustomer. And if you want some recommendations, look up I Will Not Let You Destroy My World remix. Oh my god, it's so good! Alright, for your first taste of my voice acting prowess is a story called This Incident Turned Me Off This Company for Good. I had caffeine, by the way. This story takes place somewhere between 2006 to 2008. Can't recall exactly. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll try to condense it where I can. For backstory, I was working part-time doing after-school tutoring, and having a cell phone was crucial for those delightful times the boss decided to move appointments around without telling me. I worked out of different schools, and it wasn't possible to get me messages through the school's office. Hence, cell phone. Well, the time came that I lost the phone, looked around, couldn't find it. Figured I'd just replace it. I called my mobile company, Hell Mobility, and was informed that I was eligible for an upgrade. I could get up to $160 in credit off a phone. I was rather excited by this, as I was between paydays and had less than $20 in my account. Figured I could get a cheap phone on contract for less than the $160 and be golden. So off I go to my local Hell store and am shown some phones by an employee. I fell in love with a cute little job that was somewhere in the $100 to $150 range on a 3-year contract. They still did those then. I figured I was good. The contract price was less than the credit, so no problem, right? And then we get to cash and she plunks down a bunch of paperwork, starts doing stuff on the computer, and everything comes to a screeching halt. I guess somehow the credit undid the contract price because all of a sudden I'm on the hook for the full price of the phone minus the $160 upgrade credit. I felt horrible. I don't know who misunderstood what, but I felt so stupid. I stammered out that I had no money to pay for it, and they assured me that nothing was finalized and they would just put it back. I made sure of that. They said nothing would go through, so I left. I did not take the phone and no money changed hands. Sometime later, after I was calmer, I realized I still needed the phone. Couldn't face going back in there and still didn't quite understand what happened, but decided to just switch companies. New store for a different company. Sell us. Just happened to be within walking distance. Strolled over, found something I liked, signed on the dotted line, and off I went. Super excited. Until I got home. One last thing to do. Call Hell and cancel my service. Easy, right? Nope. Cue the lady on the phone telling me that the store had reported things as me buying the phone, leaving, then returning it 20 to 30 minutes later. And that because of this, I was locked into a contract and it would cost $400 to get out of it. Now, I should add here, I am on the autism spectrum. I can't always control my emotions. And at that time, $400 was huge and insurmountable. So in my attempts at explaining things from my perspective, I got increasingly emotional, hysterically crying by the end. Swear words might have been uttered, I don't completely remember. And this lady just got angry with me and told me off for being upset. Eventually, I decided this wasn't going anywhere and just hung up. Enter my mother. Odd request, but okay. I called her after hanging up and was still crying so hard she legit thought someone died. She eventually got me calm enough to explain. She knew I couldn't handle doing this without losing it again, so ordered me to get her approved to talk on my behalf. I did that. She called them. The result of that call was to go get the store to call themselves to try and straighten it out. We ended up going to the store 3 to 4 times and getting them to call because nothing ever got fixed. We would be told it was fine, but then it wasn't. We jumped through hoops for weeks. Luckily, my mom had them stick my phone on this $12 a month disconnected fee since I still couldn't find it, and this took so long the bills would have kept adding up. Eventually, they agreed. I never signed a new contract, but said my current one was still a few months away from finishing. So I had to pay it out at the $12 a month until it ended, and I could finally cancel. I could live with that and agreed to it. A few months later, when I thought I was free, I called and canceled. and then got a bill for $453 in the mail. Cue another round of calls explaining everything again, and they finally waived it. I walked away from Hell Mobility and never looked back. And sometime later, when my cable company started offering home phone service, I ditched Hell completely. I will never be a customer of theirs again. Phone companies, man, I'm telling ya, they're out for your blood, your freaking kids' blood, and your grandkids' blood, and if you don't have grandkids, they'll take your kids' dog's blood. I don't know why they want my blood. I wish they'd just take my money. I'm getting tired of the needles, man. Alright, this one's called Rude Google Stadia Support Employee Tried to Trick Me into Closing Support Chat. I had to contact Stadia Support since the Stadia controller does not work with Chrome OS 81. The support agent acknowledged there was an issue but left me hanging when I started to get to the core of the issue. Please read the chat transcript below to see how he treated me. He even tried to clear my cache and cookies and close my browser in order to close the support chat. I was smart enough to not let him get away with it. However, he then stonewalled me. This is the worst kind of treatment I have had in a long time. Here is the chat transcript.
Thanks for contacting us. My name is Joshua. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about Stadia.
I've updated my Chromebox to Chrome OS 81, and this stopped my Stadia controller from working. It worked fine on Chrome OS 80.
Hey there, OP. Hope you're doing great. How can I help? Aside from that update, was there any other changes initiated?
No. I'm on the stable channel of Chrome OS. I tried 81 before on beta channel and had the same issue. I reverted back to the stable channel, 80, and this fixed the problem. Now today, the upgrade is forced on the stable channel, and now I can't play.
I do see what you mean. Can you be more specific when you said Stadia is not working?
The controller cannot connect anymore, so the A, up and down, etc. does not work anymore. I just connected the controller to my CCU and it works fine.
Are you referring to the Night Blue controller?
Yes, I am a founder.
Got it. Do you have your controller right now?
Yup.
Alright.
I just tested it on the CCU to make sure it's not the controller. When connected to my CCU, it works perfect.
Kindly tap and hold on the Stadia button for about 15 seconds.
I unlinked it now. Can I let go?
Go ahead.
Light is not on anymore.
Good. It means we did a hardware off on the device.
Okay, good to know.
Now let's go ahead and turn it on by tapping the Stadia button one time.
Done. White light flashing.
After it's turned on, kindly reboot your Stadia app, reopen, then try to link your controller on the app.
You mean Stadia in my browser?
Nope, on the Stadia app, on your mobile device. I do know that the issue is with your Chromebox. I just wanted to make sure everything works on the device.
Okay, it found the controller in the Stadia app. I click on it and it says linking with Chromecast.
Great. Go ahead and link it, then try playing on your TV if you can.
Some kind of information screen. Yes, that connects fine. I already tested this earlier. Now I'm connected to the CCU and the controller is working.
So the buttons work fine as well? Great.
Yes, it just started playing Doom 64.
Awesome. Would you like to proceed with your Chromebox or some other time?
Huh? Please proceed with the Chromebox.
Sure thing.
That's why I started the chat, since I know the issue is software related to Chrome OS 81.
Are you connecting the controller wirelessly?
Yes. I tried connecting with wireless before while I was on the beta channel, but this did not work back then either. Did not recognize it.
If your Stadia controller is connected to the Chromecast, go to the home screen, then hold the Stadia button, and then select Unlink and turn off controller.
I have unlinked it.
Great. But first, let's clear the cache and cookies on your Chrome browser before we proceed. Then reboot the browser.
Incognito is fine as well?
We'll get to that. Please let me know if you're done.
If I close my browser, will I be reconnected to you?
Just use another window.
Okay, done. Cache and cookies clear. For your information, I don't use the Stadia Plus plugin. All my plugins are disabled for Stadia page. You said you know that the issue is with my Chromebox. Could you tell me what the issue is? Are you still there? Random winky face. Hi. Just let me know if you need some more time. Hello? Oh my goodness, I hope he doesn't have a freaking job anymore. Isn't bad customer support one of the reasons people consider the Stadia a failure so far? I mean, already, I should say. Like, that thing was considered a huge flop from the get-go, and I was considering buying one too. Like, I actually kind of really wanted one because I didn't have a PS4 Pro at the time, and some of the features sounded really good. And I was aware that people were saying it's too good to be true, and it more or less was, but I was still interested. But obviously, I didn't buy one because I don't want to drop $100 at one time. I'm cool with spending like $20 5 times, but I'm not okay with spending $100 one time because I'm stupid and I don't realize that it's the same amount of money. And if you're a customer service person, I know your job sucks, but do it if you have the job. Goodness, if you don't want to do it, then just like quit or just don't get the job to begin with. Okay, just don't be Joshua, okay? And now, if your name is Joshua, I'm not gonna like you as much as I could have because, well, I'm prejudiced against Joshuas now. Unless you're Josh Peck. He was really good in Red Dawn. But I like Drake Bell more. He voiced Spider-Man. Also, his album Ready Steady Go was so good. Okay, this story's called Remote Customer Diagnosis. And the TLDR here is a good one because it could literally just be a subtitle. Even when you are the customer, you are the tech. Here is a story about a time my main system had stopped working and I was willing to pay for someone else to diagnose the issue. At the time, I was heavily involved with a hardcore raiding group in an MMO and a new raid tier was out. Basically, any time that I was not commuting or working was spent progressing the raid with the group. I came home one afternoon and sat down to jump back into the raid as normal, but the computer, which I had custom built from parts and was very familiar with, refused to turn on. I don't remember the exact behavior, but it was something like I turned it on and had power and wouldn't reach post noises and would suddenly shut off. There wasn't even enough for the small 7-segment error display embedded on the motherboard to give me a clear idea of the fault. I determined, playing with it for the next half hour or so, that the fault was either my power supply was bad or the CPU. It was most likely the power supply, but I didn't have a spare for either of them on hand to test with, and I was concerned buying a new supply even with rush shipping, nobody local had what I wanted, would take too long and be spending money in the wrong direction as a CPU failure was going to be replacing a lot more pieces that are rather expensive. I decided to bite the bullet and take it down to a local store to have them look at it, to get the right answer quickly to give my raid team an accurate time frame for repair. The person at the desk was the person you want to work with. They valiantly tried to tell me to save me the money as I was obviously capable.
We can diagnose it, but from your troubleshooting, it's most likely the power supply. You should probably just buy a new one and install it yourself.
I know it's probably the power supply, but nobody has what I'm looking for locally, so it will take several days. If I have to replace the processor, I'm going to be replacing a lot more pieces, so I want to be sure I can get an accurate repair time frame without wasting money. He tried a bit more, you can return the power supply, but I finally managed to convince them I was going to give them my money no matter what he said. Just diagnose it and, as I had pulled the drives for security, make sure they can get to the BIOS config. I went home and got a call a few hours later from the tech.
It's really dusty in this case. We can remove the dust for comically high price.
You are just gonna use compressed air, right? I can do that myself later, it's fine.
I kinda already cleaned it out.
Woo-hoo! Free case cleaning! I didn't approve it, so I ain't paying for it.
Anyway, we confirmed the power supply is bad. We connected it to another power supply and it's passing post, but we can't get it to output anything to the screen. The mainboard display is just showing mysterious error value that we can't find in any of the documentation.
Thinking for a moment as the number tickled the back of my brain, I tried to recall what the undocumented error code I had received before. When I first installed my video card and one of the 2 power connections failed to clip in properly, I'd had a difficult time tracing it down. Have you checked both the power connections on the video card are secured? I can't be sure it's the same, but I do remember underpowering it gave me an undocumented error code.
We definitely have it connected properly to power, as we don't have it booting to BIOS successfully, and we are still working on it and will follow up when we have the complete diagnosis.
I thanked them for the update and we hung up. Less than 5 minutes later, I got another call from them. They sheepishly informed me it was ready for pickup. I would just need a new power supply. After we had hung up, it appears they had double-checked the video card power connections and, as they had said, were properly seated. The connectors, however, were from my bad power supply. which, being unplugged, was definitely not putting out any power. The document lacking error code was for video card power input. I finished my desired replacement power supplies order I had already prepped with expedited shipping and updated my raid group on shipping timeframes before heading over and picking up the machine from the still abashed tech. P.S. They did not try to charge me for the dust removal for anyone with concerns. Addendum. Lost it in cleaning it up, the post apparently, but the reason I didn't buy a power supply from the shop was nobody local I contacted, including them, had a platinum rated unit. Since I was having to buy online anyway, I also got a nice modular unit. This was probably 3 to 4 years ago. Currently writing this on the aforementioned system where the new power supply is still going strong. Okay, that was kind of... I don't know why this is so funny to me. He had the wrong thing plugged into the power supply. I can't breathe. Alright, this story's called The Waitress All But Slapped the Food Out of My Mom's Hands. So me and my family, 3, is that 3 years old or a family of 3? Went to lunch with another family of 5, I'm assuming. We went to a steakhouse for 2 reasons. 1, we all love steak. 2, it's the safest thing for my mom to eat, as she has a severe dairy allergy. So we all sit and order the steak. My mom asks, and we find out they dip their steak in butter before they cook it. Ew. So my mom asked to have the cooks cook the steak in another pan. The waitress said no problem. Cut to all of us getting our steaks. Oh, they were perfect. My mom is about to take her first bite when we hear someone scream, "No!" from across the restaurant. We look and there's our waitress running at us. She gets to the table and takes my mom's plate, out of breath. She tells us the cook messed up and put the butterless steak on the wrong plate, and she had seen my mom about to eat the steak. Mom got a new steak and we left the waitress a big tip. It's been rare we find a waitress who don't get huffy about helping out with my mom's food needs a bit. But there has to be another one who went this hard to make sure my mom didn't die. Anyways, that's my one really great story of the most amazing waitress. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why that last story was so funny to me. I can't. Okay, this story's good. Okay, this is also funny. I messed up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.